Hi everyone! So I'm back today to show a really quick tutorial on how I went about making the base for this exploding box. This box was actually a DT project for Authentique. I've used their Swaddle collection, both the girl version and the boy version for this project. As you can see, for the finished box, I've used the girl version. And this is how it came out. And for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to finish up the second box using the boy version of the Swaddle collection. So, collections are really cute. I really liked working with these. So, a quick overview of this little box. It measures about 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. And here's the top. Here are the sides and the bottom. And it opens up like this. Just take the lid off. And it opens up to reveal 4 other smaller boxes. The smaller boxes measure about 3 inches by 3 inches. And you got 4 of them in here. And these are great for storing chocolates, as I did here. As you can see, they perfectly fit for Ferrero Rocher chocolates. So you can put chocolates, little trinkets, little mementos. You can even do pictures. For example, the boy version of the box I was thinking of keeping for myself, and I wanted to put in there maybe a lock of my son's hair from his first haircut. I wanted to put in one box. In the other box, I might put the bracelets from the hospital for both my son and myself when I gave birth to him. So it's really cute for just storing mementos, memorabilia, pictures, or candy if you just want to give this as a gift. If you do a Christmas themed one, a Halloween themed box, just think of the possibilities. You could put all these different kinds of little candies and goodies in here. So for those of you that follow my channel, the boxes themselves might look a little familiar to you. I have used the same technique to create the boxes that I used to create the little boxes for my advent calendar. And so that's why these look a little familiar to you. Same technique. And then in order to close it, you just fold it right back up like this. And you put the lid on. And that's it. So really quick, the idea for this kind of exploding box I got from another YouTuber. And I will leave the link in the description box below. She was actually demoing a die. There's a die out there that will cut the pieces out for both the larger box and the smaller boxes. And you just basically cut whatever size you need and you just put it all together. I actually love the die, you know, and I went looking for it, but this YouTuber is in England. And the die itself, the manufacturer of the die, was in England as well. So I searched for it here in the United States, could not find it. I did find a store in the United Kingdom that would ship it worldwide, but I just found the shipping too expensive. The die itself I didn't think was that bad, but the shipping was just a little pricey. Plus, I just felt like, you know what, let me just see if I can just create my own version of it. So this is it, but that's where I got the idea from. And again, I'll leave the link in the description below in case you're interested in seeing that die. So let's get started. I'm not gonna drag this on anymore. So let's start with making these 4 little boxes. As previously mentioned, I used the same technique for my advent calendar, and I will leave the link to that tutorial in the description below. I am gonna go through really quick how I go about making the boxes in this tutorial, but if you want a more detailed or slower process, feel free to visit my Advent calendar tutorial, because I go into much more detail there on how I went about making the boxes. So the techniques for making the boxes, both the lid and the base, okay, are the same. They're exactly the same. The only difference is the size of the paper that you're using. So for the base of the boxes, you're gonna need 4 pieces of cardstock measuring 8 by 8. And then just a reminder that whichever design you want on the outside of your box, is what is going to face away from you. So let's just say that the 8x8 side is what I want showing on the outside of the box. You're going to flip that away from you like that. And you're going to start folding this way. So as you can see, this is already folded to make it go quicker. So the way you create these boxes are you fold in half this way, open it up, you fold in half the other way, open it up, and that will make your center cross right here. And then that's your guide to do the rest of it. And of course, don't forget to burnish every time that you fold. That's a given. So then you're going to start folding all 4 of your corners with the tip of each corner meeting the center right here. So you're going to fold them like that. And then once you have them like that, you're going to grab each side, and again, the middle of this is going to meet the center of your square. It's going to go like that, and you're going to do the same on the other side, like that. Open it back up, flip it on the other side, and you're going to do the same thing. Fold it towards the middle, both sides, so they meet like this. Open it back up. Pick 2 opposing corners, so I'm going to pick these 2. And then you're going to cut. This is the only cutting you're going to do. So you're going to cut right here. And then you're going to cut on the opposite side. And then you're going to go right across. You're going to flip it and do the same thing on the other side. And that's it. Now you just have to put your box together. So you grab these 2 that you cut, you stretch them out, and these are the size of your box, and you just start putting them together. Goes like this, and this goes over, and goes like that, and then you do the same thing here. You grab your sides, you tuck them in to create the wall of your box, and then you grab this piece and you just fold right over that, and then you push down, and there's your box. Okay, and then what I do is, you could kind of see it here, I do add a little bit of glue here on this tip and on this other tip in order to keep it from opening up. So just press down a little bit there so the glue will stick on both sides, and there you go. Same technique is used for the lid. The only difference is the size. So again, for the base, you're going to need 4 pieces of cardstock measuring 8 inches by 8 inches. And for the lids, you're going to need 4 pieces of cardstock or designer paper or whatever, measuring 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And you fold both the base and the lid the same way. Ta-da! And it works. So you're going to create 4 of those. And that's done. And let me just grab my box and put it out of the way and move this one over, because I have already done my 4 boxes for the boy version of this box, of the exploding box. So my 4 little boxes are done. So now let's move on to the base of the box itself. So everything's already pre-cut in order to make this go faster. So here's your base. The base of your box is gonna measure, let me see here. Actually, you know what? Why don't I just show this? That's my prototype. I have my prototype right here. So I made a prototype with this box first, and I wrote all the measurements on here. So why don't I just show that? So the base of your box is going to measure 4 5/8 by 4 5/8. That's going to be your base. Then for each side of your box, that's going to measure 3 1/2 by 4 5/8, and you're going to need 4 sides. So here are my 4 sides. I've already cut them out. So 4 sides measuring 3 1/2 inches by 4 5/8 inches. And on the 4 5/8 side, no, sorry, wrong way, this way. On the 3 1/2 inch side, you're gonna score it at 1/2 inch. All right, all 4. You're gonna do that for all 4. So once again, on the 3 1/2 inch side, you're gonna score it at 1/2 inch, which I've already done here. And kind of, there you go. Now you can see it. So those are for the 4 sides of your box. And then for the lid, here's my lid. You're gonna need a piece of cardstock measuring 7 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches. And you're gonna score at 1 1/2 inches on all 4 sides, which is what I did here. So 1 1/2 on all 4 sides. And that's your lid. And that's it. That's really all the pieces you need to create the base of this this box. So let me get my prototype out of the way. And now the next step is just putting it all together. So boxes are done. Leave them there. And I'm going to start by putting the sides, attaching them to the base. So here are your pieces. Here's the 1/2 inch scored, and you're just going to start folding that. So what I like to do is I fold them, and I do snip off a little bit off the tab here, and so that it adheres. I guess you could say, so you can hide this piece. Oh my god, I can't even think right now. This tab, let's call it this tab. So you could hide the tab better when you attach it to the base, so you don't see the edges poking out. So I like to just, I guess, miter it. I don't know how to call this. Right now my mind is blank. But I cut them at a slight angle. That's really all I do. And I do this for all 4 of them. See? That's all I do. I don't know if you could see that. It's like just cut off at a slight angle on both sides. Okay? And you're going to do that for all 4 sides. Okay, so I say this all the time in my videos, and I don't do it myself. Don't forget to burnish. So I'm just going to quickly burnish these guys. All right, and the next step, I'm just going to adhere them to my base. So all you're going to do is you're going to put some adhesive here. You can use double-sided tape. I personally like to do wet glue because I am perpetually lopsided. I can never just get this on right the first time. So I need some wiggle room. I need to be able to move it around and get it just right. So that's the way I use wet glue. So you're gonna put wet glue right here on your tab, and you're gonna adhere it to the inside of your base, not on the outside, not like that. So we're saying this is the inside of your box. So you're gonna put it right on top of there, on the inside of your on top of your base. Okay, it's kind of hard to see with white, but that's what you're gonna do, and you're gonna do that on all 4 sides like that. All right. Okay, all done. So there you go. Oops. The base of your box is done, and you should end up with something like this. So this is going to be the bottom inside of your box, and these are going to be your sides. It's going to look like that. And by the way, something that I did fail to mention, I'm using 110-pound cardstock to make this project, just so you can make the walls of the box sturdier. It's just an FYI. I'll put that in the notes somewhere earlier in the video. So let's move along. So the next step is decorating. I already have all the pieces matted and cut out of what I'm gonna do to the sides of the box, as well as the base of the box. This is what's gonna go at the bottom of my box, like that. And then all the different sides and stuff like that. So let me go adhere all the different sides that I have here. And I'll be right back. I mean, for these, I'm not really going to give much measurements because, to be honest, it's up to you how you want to decorate your box. As you can see, for some of them, I've double matted. I have like a glitter paper behind the designer paper. And for others, I've just kept the designer paper blank. So it's really up to you how you want to decorate your box. I mean, once you have your base, it's just a matter of cutting out the designer paper so that it fits all along your box. So I'm not going to get into details about sizes. However, if you do have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm back, and as you can see, I've put my designer paper on. I've done all the sides. I've did the inside bottom base, and I've also done the outside. So this is the outside base, and these are the sides of my box. So it's gonna look like that. Okay. So once you're done putting all your paper on the base of your box, you're gonna adhere your little boxes. So the way you do this is you have to pick a side. Either you put all the boxes on the right side of each of the flaps, like that. It's on the right side of each of the flaps. Or you do it on the left side, like that. All right? So whichever side you pick, just make sure that they are the same for all four sides. So I'm a righty, so I tend to put everything on my right side. And just as a safety net, just to make sure that you're gluing everything okay, just put your box together, close it up. See? So when you start closing it up, they should all fall into place, like so. See? And that's how your box should look like when you're done putting it together. All right? So if your box looks like this, then this is how you need to adhere your four little boxes to the base of your bigger box. All right? So once you pick your side, you just start gluing them on. So again, oh, and where you glue them is the best way to show it, because I'm just gonna do them all in fast motion. But you're gonna put some wet glue, again, because I don't trust double-sided tape, perpetually lopsided. I need to move it around and make sure it's right where I need it. You're just gonna put a lot of wet glue right here on your bottom, and you're just gonna put it flush against the corner of your side. So when you put the box, it should be just like that. You don't want it going over, because if you go it over, it's gonna bump into the other side. So you want it to be flush. Something like that. Like that. See how you don't see the box? So it's right flush. I tend to adhere it with the lid on. Once I have it in a spot where I like it, that's when I tend to take the lid off, and then I press down to make sure that the glue sticks. But in order to adhere them on, because the lid adds a bit of dimension to your boxes, I would glue them on with the lid to make sure that they're flush and that they don't stick out. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do now. Okay, so my boxes are adhered. They're just drying right now, so I really don't want to touch them, but they are where I want them to be. So all looks good. Looks like there's wiggle room or enough space there for the lids. So I'm just gonna leave them alone now until they dry, because some of them are still kind of moving around. But right now I'm just reinforcing it so that the bottoms stick. So let's put this aside for now and work on the lid real quick. So let's put these guys over here and let's take the lid. So in order to put the lid together, so you have your lid 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and you've scored on all 4 sides at 1.5, and then of course you fold them in and you burnish all 4 sides. Let's reinforce that. Okay, once you have that, you're gonna cut. You're gonna cut here, across, and then same thing on the other side. All right, and you're gonna end up with this, your little tabs right here. And then you're just gonna put your lid together. So the way I like to do it is, some people like to leave the tabs on the inside. I actually like to leave mine on the outside for this project anyway. So I like to glue them like this. So once again, here's this piece of it. Fold it in, grab the sides, fold them inwards, leaving the tabs on the outside, and that's how you're gonna glue them. And you're gonna do the same thing on the other side to form your lid. Now the reason I like to leave the tabs on the outside is because I don't decorate the inside of my lid. So if I left the tabs on the inside, you would be able to see them. But I do decorate the outside. So by leaving the tabs on the outside, once I put this over it, you don't really see it. And I do the same things with these that I do with the other ones. I sort of miter the corners a little bit so that they hide better. So that's how I hide these, so they don't show as much. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna cut these at an angle a little bit, and then I'm gonna glue all 4 sides in order to make my lid. Okay, and there you have it. Here's your lid, ready to be decorated. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So these are gonna be the sides of for my lid that are gonna go like that, and this is the top. So I'm gonna go finish this off. I'm gonna go finish decorating and putting the last pieces of my box together, and then I'll be right back to show off the final product. But this is it. Your box is pretty much done. The rest is all the fun part, embellishing. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back to show the finished product. And here's my little boy box. So now this is where I go into detail about how I decorated these two. So let's start with the boy box. With the boy, I took one of these cardstock sticker elements from the collection, and I had this bling in my stash that fit the circle perfectly, so I used that to make the image pop a little more. And I also did adhere this with foam dots to make it pop up and give it some dimension as well. And the rest of it is just little bits and bobs from my own stash. So I love collecting little minis of everything. I love mini mushroom birds and mini flocked teddy bears and mini bunnies and mini everything. So they make great additions for these sort of projects. So that's what I did here on the lid. It's got a little mini flocked teddy bear, and I've got some mulberry paper flowers. I got some felt flowers, fabric flowers, and I added a little bit of tulle on this one. And another element from the collection, it says Sweet Child of Mine. And let's open it up. Oh, by the way, that's the cover, all fully decorated in the side of the box. And here's the bottom. And we open it up, and there are your little boxes. And it opens right up to show the little sleeping baby right at the bottom. Okay, so that's the boy version. And now for the girl version, you've already seen this one for the most part. I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail on what I did on the cover. For this one, I had a little flocked duck, the little ducky in my collection, and I loved it. I added that one here. Another flower made out of felt. This one's made out of fabric, this one too. Some little mulberry paper flowers. I added a little rhinestone flourish back here. And this little shaker, which I absolutely love, this little rattle, which I turned into a shaker, was actually from the collection itself. See it right here? It's a cut apart, one of these 3x4 inch cut aparts. And what I did was I had circular dies in my collection that fit the rattle perfectly, and I created a little shaker out of the rattle. So I added a little bit of stars and some little seed beads in there. And then what I did was I fussy cut the rattle from the 3x4 inch card, and I adhered it with some foam dots or pop dots, or I don't know what to call these. Pop dots, that's what they're called, to give it some dimension and make it, you know, make it more like a 3D decoration. But I really like that little rattle. Yeah, you can actually, you know, make it look like a real rattle. I like it. It shakes, makes noise. All right, well, that's it. These are my 2 explosion boxes. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good night.